up, y'all? It's Jessica Ivory in Box Magazine and DVD. I am coming to you live from the back of a limousine with Mr. Legendary Al Bell, former president of Motown Records, legend, living legend. To the right of me, I got J-Trax. How y'all doing tonight?
Excellent. Enjoying ourselves and glad to be here at the Indie Awards show.
Well, we're happy to have you. So for those of you that are watching and you're not quite sure who Al Bell is, this dude has worked with legends. Otis Redding, for example. Can you name us a few more?
Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Rufus Thomas, Carla Thomas, Johnny Taylor, Sam and Dave, Booker T and the MGs, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, the Dramatics, the Emotions, Johnny Taylor, Albert King, Bill Cosby, and on and on and on.
Is that all? Is that it?
No, I just had fun. I've been fortunate and blessed to be able to work with a lot of talented people in the music and entertainment business, and I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. So I saw you on Fox 2 News this morning. I saw Tim Mazzell interviewing you, and I learned some new things about you. And the first thing that I learned was that, Stax Records has been around for a very long time, and the fact that you were around during a very ugly time, the segregation time.
Yes.
But the fact that Stax Records was comprised of both black and white people, that's a beautiful thing. So tell me more about that experience.
Well, that was really a highlight in my life, because when segregation permeated Memphis, Tennessee, the South, and really America, we had whites and blacks working together in a creative sense and in an administrative sense. And coming out of that segregated environment, we called, or at least called Stax, our oasis. For we came out of segregation into an integrated environment where we worked together in harmony and peace, and we didn't even think about color. Color didn't come through the door. And out of that came the great music, people living in harmony and making music that influenced and affected a lot of people.
Absolutely. I feel like I should bow down to a legend right here, because this man has been in the music industry for a very long time, y'all. So tell me a little bit more about, what are your favorite accomplishments that you've achieved so far in your career?
Well, I don't know. That's rather difficult, but I think that the one that stays in my heart was when we were blessed to be able to put together Wattstax at the Los Angeles Coliseum and put that together right after the Watts Rebellion. They call it riots, but after the Watts riots. And we put together 112,000 African Americans in that stadium without any problems from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. and did that at a time when they, generally speaking, the white community was concerned if two of us got together because they thought it was going to be a problem. And we were able to pull together 112,000 people from 6 to 60 or 70. No LAPD, our own security led by Melvin Band people, no weapons, no guns, nothing like that. And just had a fantabulous family affair, if you will, all day long and into the night. And that, of course, was a proud moment in my life, for it gave an opportunity for the world to see us as a family.
Man, that's what I'm saying. This dude has paved the way, real talk. I mean, really, he's a pioneer in the music industry. It goes way deeper than just music. So you were actually the president of Motown. Can you tell me briefly, if you can, put into words your experience with working with such legends in the music industry?
Well, I was president of the Motown Records Group, which was the record label. There was the president of Motown Records and president of the publishing and all of that, but I was over all of that. And I was brought in to work with Berry Gordy at that time to organize Motown so that if he decided to sell it, we'd have it organized in such a manner where he could sell it and do it in a profitable manner.